This chapter is the crossroad for BTS and for ARMY, and for the global music industry. It is absolutely mental to think that BTS and ARMY ushered the greatest musical industry revolution of modern times. Let me say that again. BTS and ARMY ushered the greatest music industry revolution that shook the biggest music markets in the world, that the powers that be were actually forced to change rules, regulations, strategies, and approach in everything that they do in order to catch up with BTS and ARMY, maintain control that they are so used to having, and hold down the metamorphosis that was happening inevitably caused by BTS and ARMY. BTS was just creating their own art based on their own stories and emotions, and ARMY was just making sure BTS knows that they are appreciated more than they are hated. It was art and love. The result was the greatest music industry revolution in modern history. As a 2013 ARMY, being aware and actually directly participating in ARMY mobilization, albeit very minutely, it felt like you were in a daze. There was a constant battle between just letting the tide and the waves throw you to 10,000 different directions and enjoy the swings and ups and downs, or stand as still as possible and be aware of every detail. I will try to share some of what I captured and felt during that time. Hi, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification button. I would really appreciate it. And of course, share the video if you can. Please, it's really helping my channel. Thank you so much to everybody who's doing it. Please keep on doing it. And if you haven't already, please share the channel and share the videos. Okay, chapter 3. This is where they are starting to gain some international success, and that's the same thing for ARMYs, especially for 2013 ARMYs like me. 2013, 2014 ARMYs, we're starting to see the fruit of our labor and our support, and we're starting to breathe a little easier. Okay, let's go to the video. Born Singer. It was the beginning of mobilization and sincere communication. Born Singer was important to BTS and unintentionally to 2013 and 2014 ARMYs. For ARMYs of that time, it was the very first time an unofficial connection was established between Korean ARMYs and Western ARMYs. As Korean ARMYs post about the song being released, international ARMYs didn't know where to access it. That caused Korean ARMYs to find ways to share it. When I got it, I think I shared it to about 100 people or probably more, and everything manually. With that, a network was actually established. International ARMYs like me and several others who had links to Korea became a stopgap. When there are things Western ARMYs needed or wanted to know, they ask it from us. Born Singer also began one important part in BTS's career. Just like what they said in the book, Bang Chi-hyuk advised them to write how they felt because they eventually will forget. And it always helps to remember your emotions and your thoughts to help you continue moving forward. Since BTS has been writing or recording or capturing their emotions in important milestones of their lives through logs, songs, videos, and others, it added a new dimension to their career, their art, and their relationship with ARMYs. I believe, although unconfirmed, this is what started the BTS Festa format, where the members would actually sit down and reflect on the year they had. They do it through documentaries, songs, letters, and other contents. Why were they the target of hate? There was one question constant throughout the chapter. Why are they getting so much hate? Although, of course, many other celebrities get a lot of hate, BTS got more because it was almost every fandom against them. It was also global. The book doesn't even try to explain why. I don't have the absolute answer either, but here are some things early ARMYs like me experienced. Just to be clear, I'm not claiming this as an absolute truth. This is simply based on my experience as a 2013 ARMY. The first wave of hate started when they debuted, and much of the criticism was about their performance. They were being called pretentious, hypocrites, arrogant, trying hard. This is highly sanitized, of course. The words used then were very, very disrespectful. People hated them for going hard on their choreography. There is one specific fandom who were especially loud because their group is also known for having real rappers, quote unquote. That overflowing hate from just one performance was actually what motivated a lot of armies to turn to different online platforms to defend BTS. Just keep in mind that from Western point of view, fan wars, although not totally new, are not the norm for us. So we were mostly confused. While Korean armies were busy in the defense, most Western armies, at least the ones that I encountered online, didn't even understand what was going on. So we were just really watching BTS videos and blogs. I think that's why both bases were actually covered. One part on the defense, on the other side is the offense. There were two specific fandoms, although I won't name names so as not to add fuel to the fire, who actually accused BTS of copying their group. Because like BTS, their group is also known as good dancers. And their groups also have characters. When I Need You was released and there was an obvious story in the music video, and it will obviously be continued, this fandom said BTS was copying their groups. One sample of excessive hate was when V was targeted because he blurted out a song of another group when they won first place. He later on explained that he blurted out the song without being aware of it because he listened to the song so much. He even showed a screenshot of his playlist. The accusation that he was insulting that group was relentless though. As haters go hard after BTS, ARMY compensated in an effort to bury the hate from being seen by the members. Given that they were directly managing their Twitter account, Korean armies asked international armies to help them post positive things to bury the tweets. Korean armies went to every website where there are people to ask for help: Facebook, Hallyu, music forums, and others. It didn't have to be a K-pop heavy forum or social media. For as long as there are people, they would go there and ask for help. That part is what I personally consider to be the next phase of Korean army to international army relationship. It was all in an effort to bury hate tweets. And then to keep the conversations going, ARMY started supporting tweets and posts that talked about the stories and messages of BTS's songs. You have to understand that there were very, very few K-pop songs that actually had substance. And I mean very few. K-pop was dominated by cute love songs or claims of being cool or just really about nothing at all. Well, I guess it's the same now. BTS songs were different. When other fandoms couldn't counter with their own group's lyrics, they resorted to attacking BTS in other ways. With their looks, they attacked the vocal line, who, just like the book said, didn't always feature high notes or attempts at vocal acrobatics. When BTS started doing better in charts and in sales, they actually accused Big Hit of buying the albums themselves. BTS ARMY, just like what the book said, was constantly swinging between defending BTS and hyping BTS. Eventually, fans of other groups realized they were no match in numbers, so they would work together against BTS. Love conquers more, and then some. Cheesy, I know, but it doesn't make it less true. ARMY wasn't really trying to get BTS to the global market. We just didn't want them to see the hate posts. 2013, 2014, there were no comeback goals. No one was trying to set records. It was all about doing things that BTS can see online to make them feel better, burying the hate posts and hate tweets. But I guess when you do things for love instead of bragging rights, you can really conquer the world. While we were busy trying to make BTS feel better, we accidentally pushed the album inside Billboard. We simply wanted creative absolution and commercial recognition. Somehow, BTS, with the help of ARMY, caught global recognition as well. De-romanticizing art. RM called the process of creating the most beautiful moment in life a cottage industry production process. The whole team was creating and rewriting music real time. Suga was revising beats and melodies as feedback was given. It exhausted them. But at that time, it felt like they had to do it that way. But they said that it paid off because the quality of their music improved drastically. This new approach has been proven to be a more effective route to productivity. They treated music not just as their passion, but as an actual work. It provided them some direction and discipline. Yes, they still felt exhausted, but later on, it was an approach that Suga himself admitted he actually adapted. Music is work that involves not just their own happiness, but also other people's lives, other people's living, their careers. There are a lot of people involved. They can't do it only when they need to or felt like it. They had to do it following schedules and expectations. It is also a tool that they use for other people. They eventually use their lyrics and music and their fame to support different causes, including the still ongoing Love Yourself campaign. This empowering Korean media companies, many armies now know that BTS rarely make an appearance in different TV shows. Instead, they create their own contents, run BTS, documentaries, video books like BTS Memories, and others. That's when haters started another narrative of Big Hit being hungry for money. Because instead of allowing BTS to appear in Korean variety shows, they were selling their documentaries, paid contents, and others. Big Hit, like other management companies, is a for-profit company. Yes, I think it's a given that they actually want to make money. However, Run BTS, BTS's Gayo, Bangtan TV, mixtapes, and other special content BTS makes, like Study with BTS, were all free. My personal unofficial computation is that they actually give away half as much content as they sell. Beyond the Story hinted, but never directly said, that part of the reason BTS stopped going to a lot of Korean TV shows is partly because of the less than polite treatment that they got. In the process of trying to stay in touch with ARMY while avoiding further mistreatment, BTS actually curtailed the power of giant Korean entertainment companies. Variety shows were influential in the promotions of K-pop groups, but Run BTS, Bangtan TV, and other self-produced content proved that fans were actually waiting and wanting more non-traditional content and a more direct communication with their favorite artists. BTS, the biggest act to come out of Korea, probably out of Asia, didn't need Korean entertainment companies. That introduced the idea of alternative promotion tactics in K-pop. Many smaller companies, and even the bigger ones, started utilizing VLive, YouTube, other social media, and other promotion vehicles. Management companies started giving their idols the freedom to create content directly instead of filtering everything. They started becoming more creative. They started putting fans at the center of their promotions instead of putting their company or their idols first, a tactic they got from BTS and Big Hit. The process of creating is as important as the creation. With the release of the very first BTS Memories and with special publications like the BTS Wings concept book, fans actually started getting a glimpse of how BTS creates their own music and videos. They weren't just well-curated behind-the-scenes clips and photos. BTS took the time to actually let ARMYs in on how they create their music, their videos, and shows. It was lethal. There have been other groups that are known for creating their own music, but very few can prove it, and fewer are the works they can be proud of. With BTS's documentaries and self-produced contents, BTS put their process in full display, highlighting not just their control over their own art, but the substance that they put in creating it. As K-pop fans like saying, their faves can't relate. It was yet another thing other fandoms can't match, which they turned to another reason to hate BTS and, by extension, Big Hit. There are many good artists, And then there's BTS. The late Carrie Fisher, the actress who played Princess Leia in Star Wars, said that you should take your pain and turn it into art. That's exactly what BTS did. They turned their pain into art, and ARMY turned that art into hits. The book said that the most beautiful moment in life was Suga's magnum opus. But before it was his magnum opus, it was his last chance, his last lifeline. It was his last gentle knock of persistence. Had the album failed, he would have quit music altogether. And things like this is actually what separates the good artists from the genius artists. Good artists can create art from their pain or experiences. A genius artist will create art from their pain that others can relate to. When the best moment in life catapulted BTS to global recognition, many armies emphasized that BTS's international success was actually sparked by BTS's own stories, not songs written for them by other people. That angered a lot of K-pop fans. As many haters couldn't dispute that fact, they turned to accusing Big Hit of buying the CDs themselves to manipulate the charts. Big Hit was also accused of hiring stream farms. In Korea or in any part of the globe, very few artists can claim this level of authenticity, artistry, and for many, that's very hard to swallow. Because how can an industry known for mass-producing puppets produce real good artists? From then on, it became easier for Korean haters to recruit international members. They grew up inside music, while others strive to build a life outside of work and bring those in their music. BTS's life was their work. They grew up in music. Music was how they sustained themselves emotionally, physically, mentally, financially. This makes it clear why and how BTS, to this day, can so clearly express themselves in their music. I know that is so conceptual, so let me try and make it concrete. Other people would sing about a lost love or friendship or falling in love. BTS, in the early years of their career, has really no life outside of their music. Music was what they did and lived. Their experience involves music. Their ambitions involve music. Their relationship involves music. Their group of friends was each other. So music becomes not just the way they express themselves, but becomes their life. As a result, they became masters of it. They are able to use it and mold it and move it to serve their purpose. No hit song. RM said they finally felt they were finally and actually invited to award shows in 2016. Make sure to watch their 2016 award show participations. By this time, they had already released Fire, which topped Billboard World Digital Song Chart. Their album, The Most Beautiful Moment in Life, actually went up to 107 of Billboard 200 chart. And yet, a new narrative was introduced by haters. BTS has never had a hit. The chaos that BTS started after they released I Need You, The Most Beautiful Moment in Life series. Everyone was trying to decode the storyline, and it was so exciting to see because it wasn't just on Twitter. It was everywhere. It was in every social media, Instagram, every social media, and then there were different forums. One Hallyu at the time was so vibrant before they crashed. All K-pop had its own forums, and there were others like Omuna, something like that. They were just everywhere. And then there were a lot of other armies who created their own websites so that they can write their own theory and aggregate the theories of other people. Of course, YouTube videos talking about it. For a 2013 army like me, 2013 to 2014 armies, it was so exciting because we kind of realized, okay, we're seeing the light at the end of the tunnel. We're not quite there yet, but if we push a little bit more, we'll get there. We didn't know that BTS was going to become as big as they are, but we kind of just felt that they deserve better and they were starting to get better. So yeah, we also realized that there were some things that we used to do that we didn't have to do anymore because there were armies who were doing it. Like the early translators, they stopped doing it because others were taking over. Of course, we owe a lot to Bangtan subs because they were the first ones who religiously translated everything about BTS. There were other things that happened during this time that the book didn't actually talk about, and understandably so, because this was written by from the point of view of the seven members. Fire, the song, is actually the song that they wrote after Bang Shiyuk and other members of Big Hit realized that the reception of the North America to BTS during the 2014 KCON was different. It was just way different. So they realized maybe we can write something that would also appeal to the North American market, which they did, and Fire was the song that came out of it, and it was a success. This was also the start of the talks that BTS actually became successful first internationally before they hit it big in South Korea. Nevermind was also a huge thing. Nevermind the song, because Jimin had it in the 2014 Mama solo performance. He had it tattooed on his body, and of course the assumption was that it was a temporary tattoo. And then during this time, somebody saw it through a sheer shirt that Jimin was wearing, and there was a huge debate on whether it was a temporary tattoo or a permanent one. And I remember up until like 3 years after, they were still debating whether it was permanent or temporary. Well, now we know, right? Okay, so there's a lot more other anecdotes, but I think it's just the video is getting too long, so I'll stop here. But it was a pure pleasure for me to read this chapter, because as I've said, this is when, as an army, having supported him since 2013, this is when we started kind of realizing, okay, we're getting there. This is everything that we've done is not for nothing after all. And so, yeah, we realized, well, we're standing the right group, and we're very happy that we did it. So I would love to hear your thoughts, though. So please leave them in the comment section below. And for everybody or anybody who doesn't like the book, that's okay. You can also express your opinion, but please be respectful. Okay, and you can also get in touch with me in any of the social media links that you see on your screen right now. And of course, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification button. And of course, share the video if you can. I'll see you in the next chapter. Happy reading!